Hello, welcome. My name is Tash and I have a big book haul for you guys today. I've read one out of all of them, so I'll do that one first and then I will jump into the rest. So let's get to it. The first book I have is Rainy and Delilah's Midnight Matinee. I haven't read any of Jeff Zentner's books before, but I was definitely impressed with this one. I mostly picked this book up because of the road trip aspect. I can really fall hard for a road trip in a book, so I was very eager to jump into this one because of that. But the road trip didn't happen until page 280 or something. It was like nearly this much through before the road trip kicked in, and I was very much enjoying myself by that point. I gave this one a 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, and let me tell you why. The two girls in this are very quirky. They run a midnight show called Midnight Matinee, and they dress up as vampires and show bad old-time horror movies. Their humor is really funny, and I really enjoyed them too as friends. I enjoyed the whole plot. It wasn't predictable. I love quirky stories. I know, I'm white trash. But I absolutely loved this one. I'm definitely gonna jump into Jeff Zentner's other book, Goodbye Days, because I've been considering reading that one as well. And that one, Goodbye Days, is about a group of friends who are driving and they get into a car accident and only one survives, and it's about him. And I really want to read that one as well. The next book is Lucy Powery's The Paper and Heart Society. Now, I hadn't heard about this one before I saw it on shelf. I read the blurb when it was there because the spine caught my eye and I thought it was really pretty. And I picked it up, read the back, and it just sounds so cute. So it's about a girl who wants to fit in at school, so she joins a book club, or a book... I think it's a book club, but it's like a book-related club, not necessarily a reading club. So she joins that to try and fit in, but not everything goes according to plan, and there's cute love involved, and I really want to get into it. I don't know too much more than that. I only know what I read, and I'm sorry if I didn't relay that very well. The next book is Dry by Neil and Jared Schusterman. This one is my current pick for the book club that I attend. I don't know much about it, as I do like to go into books surprised. I do know that it's about a drought, I believe, about the water running out and what they're going to do and trying to figure out that situation. But beyond that, I don't actually know too much about it. So I've heard really good things about, I don't know if it's Neil or Jared Schusterman, but one of them, the person that wrote Scythe, I've heard really good things about him, so I have high hopes for this one as well. Book number 4 is All That Impossible Space by Anna Morgan. This one was one of the reader's copies I scored at work. It's about a girl who's always believed that she's been the side character. That she's never been the one to stand out and show her true colors. She's always been the one supporting her best friend or supporting her family, or she's always been there but there in the background and no one really pays attention to her. So this book takes place when a teacher gives her an assignment and it goes off into like a thriller sort of aspect, I believe. The assignment is about uncovering a mystery of a murder or a disappearance that happened years ago and learning all that happened, and I'm guessing solving the mystery, but I don't know, that's just an assumption. I haven't read it yet, so I'll let you know how it goes when I get to it. Book number 5 is by John Mars. It's The Passengers. It's a thriller about 8 cars that have been hacked and they're on course to collide with one another, I believe, and the story takes place about trying to stop the entire ordeal before that all goes down and deaths occur and all that not so fun stuff. I don't really know too much about it, but yeah, I'm excited to get into this one as well. I really love thrillers, so this one and this one here I'm very excited to get into. Book number 6 is the sequel to J. Kristoff's Lifelike. I almost forgot the name for a second there. And that is Devious. I'm going to be honest with you, I wasn't the biggest fan of Lifelike, only the ending sort of got me in a funk. But I do want to read this because I want to know where it's going. I believe it follows Lemon Fresh more than... I can't remember the main character's name. But I believe it follows Lemon Fresh more than it follows the other main character. For those who have read it might know why I can't remember the main character's name, because things happen. I'm sort of excited to get into this one. I'm hesitant about getting into this one. The next book that I purchased was Before I Let Go by Marieke Nijkamp. I can't say her name. I am terrible at names, so if I butcher anyone's name, I apologize. I am very, very sorry. But as long as you guys can read the name, I feel like I'm in the clear. Right? That's how it works? I'm sure. This one's about two best friends who end up living apart from each other, and just before one of the best friends can come visit, the other best friend passes away. And it's about learning to cope with the loss of her best friend and how her life changes. And I love books that will like hit me right in the feels and make me sob like a baby. So I'm really hoping that this one does that for me. Next is sort of along the same vein. I have heard people talking about it forever, and I've been waiting for it to come to Australia. I was always considering to buy the hardbacks, but I do prefer to read paperbacks, and that one is Eliza and Her Monsters. I have been dying to get my hands on a copy of this one because it sounds incredible. I love mental health books, so this one is right up my alley. I am very excited for this. I don't know too much about it. If anything, I know it's a mental health book. I know it deals with comics, or it deals with something along that vein. I'm not 100% sure, if I'm going to be honest. I just know I'm going to love it. The next one is Field Notes on Love by Jennifer E. Smith. I read one of her books before. I've read Windfall, and I absolutely adored it. I liked the idea of the play on the lottery and someone else buying it for him. I know I loved that one, and I thought it was super adorable, and I have no doubt that this one's going to be equally as adorable. I have no idea what it's about. I'm hoping it's a road trip because it's like field notes. And like I mentioned right at the beginning, I love traveling books, so I really hope that this one has some traveling aspects in it. Sorry, I'm just making it intentionally like a glimmer in the light because I can't help myself. Okay, the next two that I bought because Reagan said they were going to be good. So Reagan has been a YouTuber for forever. I've been following her forever. I absolutely trust her recommendations, and I am obsessed with her weekend reading vlogs. I'll attach her below if you don't know who I'm talking about. But she recently read Crazy Rich Asians, and she also read the 5th season. They're both very different books. This one has the movie come out. I know it's about a professor and a very, very rich boyfriend that she doesn't know is rich, and they attend a wedding, and there's all this quirky fun stuff that happens. That's the best I can describe it, but with the movie out and everyone talking about it, I'm sure most of you probably know what this one's about. Anyway, the 5th season, I really like the idea of a post-apocalyptic fantasy. I've never heard of that before. Like the idea of their world ending and them having to figure it out. I really like that, so I'm really excited to dive into this one as well. I have another thriller. Okay, so That Night by... I'm not even going to attempt to say that. So That Night follows a girl who recently lost her boyfriend to suicide, except she's not 100% certain it was suicide. It dives into whether or not her boyfriend was murdered, or if he did in fact commit suicide. Number 13 is by Gina Showalter. I have been a huge fan of Gina Showalter, I don't know, for almost 10 years now. I really, really liked, what was that series called? This was the book that I got into first ever one. It's since been discontinued, but it's majorly underrated. So yeah, I got into Gina Showalter a very long time ago. I've read Intertwined. I've also read Lifeblood, I believe that's what it's called. And I've been meaning to read the rest in that series as well. And then The Evil Queen has come out, and I absolutely adore her. And, you know, I love fairy tale retellings as well, so this is sort of like a win-win for me. This is a Snow White retelling. Wasn't sure, but then I saw the apple. The next on the list is by Will Kostakis, an author I have been following for a very long time. I have 2 of his other books, both are signed because I love a signed copy. And now I have got my hands on an advanced reader's copy of Monuments, which I'm very eager to dive into. I don't know a whole lot about it, don't really need to. I just know I love Will Kostakis, and that is all I need. The next is by Jen Wilde, I believe. Yep, got her name right. And it's The Bright Siders. I also don't know a whole lot about this one, but it was sitting in the art pile in the back of the office, and I had to steal it. So I know that she wrote Queens of Geek, and everyone absolutely adored it. I never got around to reading it. I might still get around to reading it, but I'll definitely read this one first since I already have the copy in my hand, and I will figure out if I want to read the other one, maybe by this one. The next book I scored was The Surprising Power of a Good Dumpling by, I'm not even going to attempt that name either. It's that there. I think it's safer to just avoid trying to pronounce the names. I don't want to chop people's names, and if I get it close enough and clear enough on the screen, I figured you guys can read it. I believe this is like a meet cute story about a girl who works in a restaurant that serves dumplings. I believe she meets a boy, and beyond that, I'm not 100% sure what the story is about. But I love contemporary stories. I die for them. So I had to steal it, obviously. The next one is The Liars by Jennifer Mathai. I know what I just said. I said I wasn't going to try, but I tried anyway. It's not going to focus, is it? So Beyond the Truth Will Tear Them Apart, there's like a little synopsis in here, but I don't really remember what it's about. I think she's like stranded on an island with her sister or something. She lives with her alcoholic mother and her sister, and her sister try to survive on this island, and a new boy gets there, and happily ever after, I guess? I'm not sure. I'm bad at explaining things, but very excited for this one. I'm sorry that wasn't much of an explanation, but you know, the truth will tear them apart. How exciting. Not for them, but for me. The second last book in my massive pile is the Astrid notes. It follows 2 main characters. Astrid, who is a girl that's a pop songwriter, but she has terrible stage fright, and the other follows a boy who is an intensely gifted singer, but he refuses to sing again. And their paths collide, and obviously they're gonna have a real old fun time, and it's gonna be a really exciting story for me, so their misery is my happiness. What a fun thing to say. The last is Sarah Dessen's The Rest of the Story. I have heard so much about this book. I love contemporary books, which is probably why majority of my things are contemporaries. I know that this is about a girl who ends up having to live 2 lives, her family life and her rich kid life. And I do love stories like that, and I know this one's been a blast at the moment, so I'm really excited to dive into this and see what everyone's talking about. I never was one of those people that got into the Sarah Dessen kick. I have never read a Sarah Dessen book before. This is going to kick it off. If you think that's a bad choice, let me know. And I will probably do nothing about it. I'll still start with this one. Anyways, that's the end of my haul. I am not going to try and balance them all because I don't want to hurt my books. Until next time, I'll see y'all later. Bye.